back to our message recap where we go over the message that we had the previous Sunday. This message series, Didn't See That Coming, wraps up next week, or wraps up this week, I guess.
Yeah.
Wraps up on Friday.
Wraps up on for the Christmas Eve service. But this week we talked about being right with God.
Yep.
That was, and I honestly hadn't ever thought of it the way that you brought it up with the Jews not seeing that coming. I've never really I know it, but I never really put myself in their shoes. Like, wow, what? You're ending this?
Well, when you think about where their mindset would be, you know, if you know anything about Jewish culture and the Jewish system and the Old Covenant and all that, you know, where the whole Jews was around, that they were special. They were God's chosen people. There was a king coming for them. You know, there were prophecies that mentioned the whole world and Gentiles, but they didn't pay much attention to that. They were generally, as a nation, really looking forward to being put on top of the list, ruling the world, all this stuff. All of their tradition, all of their systems, they thought he would even further protect and further raise up, and they never saw the fact that he came to finish it, not to make it more, but to bring it to an end. This being right with God would be a new way. Nobody ever saw that this new way would be at the sacrifice of God himself. I mean, that's what blew everybody away. And we've talked about this before, that even Satan himself never saw that coming. He would have never been behind crucifying Christ.
Had he known the result?
Nobody saw that coming, that he was going to not be killed, but give his life up as a ransom, as a sacrifice, as that perfect lamb to cover sin forever. Nobody saw that coming. Like I said, even though there were prophecies about that very thing, but you know how we can miss stuff, and that's not what we're looking for. And it is an interesting topic, but no wonder the Jews, for the most part, now there were several, there were Jews that accepted Christ, but for the most part, the nation of Israel did not accept Christ and still don't today.
I love those. Well, all of Hebrews is just a great letter to read, but it is so clear that entire Old Testament, Mosaic law, Jewish law, 613 things, the old order, and the Holy of Holies, and all of that stuff is 100% done with.
Yeah.
Jesus fulfilled it all. Jesus is the only one who makes us right. Like, why?
Crystal clear.
Why do we keep
especially if you were a Hebrew, especially if you're into the Old Covenant and stuff, you would read that, because we didn't, nor will we probably ever talk about so much in Hebrews about the priesthood and about how the system worked. And then so clearly says, but he's the new priest. He's the one that's, like, it's just so clear.
He's the better one. This is a better covenant.
Yeah.
The old one is obsolete. Yeah. He guarantees these promises.
I think even for us who don't know, like that we were talking about the Jewish nation rejecting Christ, but it's just even for us as most of us, being Gentiles, living in America, growing up in America, why we want to hold on so much to a system like that, not the exact one, but a system of performing, a system of doing, a system of merit. Do this, I get a plus. Do this, I get a plus. And why, when I could understand if we didn't have the Bible, we didn't know what Jesus said or what Jesus came to do, but us, as if you're watching this and you are a Christian person, it just blows my mind why we are so wanting to be stuck to a system that we cannot win. We cannot win, but we almost like, and I don't want to be a smart aleck really, but because I'm in the same boat, it's almost like we don't want to hear the truth or nothing else. I just am comfortable staying where I am, even though I might even know it's wrong, but I'm going to stay there anyway.
And I know it's hard. I know I don't really like it, and
you can't follow all the rules.
Like this.
And you can't follow all the rules.
No,
you can pretend And that's what we do. We pretend that we're good enough.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not as bad as you because you guys swear and stuff. I never swear.
What in the
For
world?
sure.
I might have just lied, but you know, that's okay.
You just say pickle instead of.
No, I
You
don't
say
say
G's
pickle.
instead of Jesus.
You can make up for it.
I do swear more than my own husband.
Yeah.
But I
I
try
don't know
I
what
try
that
not
household's
to.
like. Oh, wait a minute.
But, yeah.
Wife swears more than the husband? Wow.
I know.
Your wife swears more than anybody I've ever met combined.
Yeah, she does. She does swear more than I do.
That is a fact. Love it to death.
I am very careful in front of children. Let me just be very clear on that. Just because I don't want to teach them.
Thanks, kids director.
Good.
That's why I said it. Because I don't want to teach kids to do it because I don't think it's a good idea. I don't think that it's promoting good things. You should not do that in front of adults. Like, just out of respect. It's not out of
There's
salvation.
a lot of good reasons not
Yes.
to, but being right with God is not one of
Right. And I think that's where we get confused in thinking that a lot of these good behaviors are good. They're good to do. However, that's not what makes us right with God. And that's where the confusion comes in. I
them.
think.
Yeah. I think those three topics that we talked about, or those three things, are pretty much covers most of us. Not everybody, but it really does. Even if we don't know we're thinking of that in the back of our head, we kind of believe I'm not that bad. I'm good enough.
Right.
Which is interesting. Even when we, like I told a little bit, I could tell really where, I mean, just the drugs and the stealing and the things that I had done. You know what? When I was doing those, I still thought,
You're
I
not
honestly
that bad
did.
of a guy.
I thought I'm not that bad.
Right.
I'm a pretty good guy.
You hadn't killed anybody.
Yeah, for some reason that seems to be the mark. I guess
Right.
I don't know.
The money graph thing to me
Yeah.
was such a good illustration, and that's just using like regular humans' money.
Yeah.
That doesn't even compare to the
Right.
righteousness of God. But to see that little sliver, I think by like the third slide, it was already invisible.
Invisible.
I don't even know where it
Invisible.
went, but
Yep. It wasn't there.
exponentially large amount Musk has, and there's just puny little me.
And
good
puny
reminder.
little Bob Dylan, too. He was
Puny
gone,
little
too.
Bob,
by-
Bob Dylan
by the time-
vanished.
Yep.
We'll F you.
That means forgive.
We will forgive you.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, Dave came up with that, and that was brilliant, a visual to see. And to compare that, that's just a visual to get an idea, but God is even way bigger than,
Doesn't even fit on the scale.
For us to even think we can be good enough to be right with God is absolutely foolish, ridiculous. It's not even, don't ever go there.
Yeah.
And on top of that, I mean, the Bible, Jesus and Paul, and it talks so much about that. Hey, if you think you're good enough, just look at these again. Look at those 10 commandments. And we can't even look at our heart, our motives. We are so unrighteous. We are. Without Jesus, we're doomed. There's just no way around it.
Yep.
And,
I've even met people on the other side of that, and I've brought it up before, but that are like, "Oh, I can't go to church. I'm not good enough.
I'm not good enough."
I got to make myself
And that's the saddest
good
part.
enough
Yeah.
to be in God's presence at a church. God's here now.
I think 30 years ago that was more prevalent. You and I think we all talked about this before, that
Yeah.
30 years ago, people did feel like I wasn't good enough for God. But nowadays, I don't know, we got this, it's just our culture is like, we're all good. You know, everybody's a winner, you know.
It's my truth, and you know, I put stuff on my social media, and I'm an activist, and look at me, I'm a good person.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the make up for it, I'll tell you, there's so many of us, and we got to check our own heart. Do I kind of think, yeah, I know I'm not perfect, but my good outweighs my bad? You can't take that bullet back. I don't care what you do.
That was a great story, by the way. I mean,
just can't.
Heartbreaking, but yeah.
Good thing it wasn't a human. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
Can you imagine if you ever accidentally shot a
That's
human
when
being?
you were talking about that story. Like, that's what my brain went to. Like, if that would have, like, those, anybody that's ever, like, the Karen Potter, like, who, it was not intentional. She grabbed the wrong thing and it shot somebody. Like, she can never take that back. She knows that, and like to live with that would be absolutely horrible.
You can see in some of the body cam footage from
Yeah.
her partner, like a minute later, she's on the ground, just like, I'm going to prison for life. Just the remorse. Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Or the last one, I just want to comment to you, that God will let it go. We all have been brainwashed with that. We have. We've heard God is forgiving, God is kind, every second chance, God's second chance. But that has all got to be tied through Jesus, not
Yeah.
just God on his own. If God were to do that, I just throw out that one thought. How evil would God be if he could have just let it go and put his son through that for nothing?
Yeah.
Is painful to even think about.
I remember an Easter message you did. This is probably 10 or 15 years ago. Or maybe it was Good Friday. I think it was Good Friday. God has never forgiven one sin.
No, he can't.
Like, what? I thought God was a forgiving God. No. Well, like, you're misunderstanding. Every sin has been paid for.
Yeah.
Not one sin has ever been forgiven. We've been forgiven the penalty
Yep.
through Jesus, but the sin was fully
Yes.
paid for and suffered.
And I think that's a great way for us to look at it when we're talking about, are you saved? Are you right with God? Are you going to be in heaven or not? Is that very question to ask ourselves. Every sin I've ever done is going to be damned to hell. Am I going to take it, or is Jesus going to take it?
Or did Jesus take it?
Yeah. Did Jesus take that for me? Because if I don't put that on what Jesus did, then I have to.
Yep.
And no sin gets damned twice, and no sin gets undamned.
Yep.
Well, I will let you in on a little secret.
You did that on purpose.
I did it on purpose.
Talk about
No.
second service. No. This is why you should be here in person because
No, I was gonna have Jeff play "Let It Go" from Frozen on the for dismissal. I'm like, put "Let It Go" on. He went looking, but he couldn't find it in time, so he just went.
Thank
to
you,
the
Jesus.
To be honest, when we first went through Run Through and I saw the Let It Go,
Yep.
that's all
That's
that I could
instantly-
hear in my head.
Yeah.
And I have boys.
That never entered my brain, ever.
It's because
I don't even know what you're talking about.
that's because
Yeah,
your
I know.
grandchildren didn't make you watch it.
No.
I know that song by heart. Had I done that, for sure that would have been a part of it.
You
And
might
the
have
third
started
reason we
singing.
think is, let it go, let it go.
And everybody probably would have joined in.
Hey, everybody with
Except for
kids
Kevin.
under 12
Yeah,
would have known.
especially girls.
That's why I don't have
why.
kids under 12.
Absolutely. All right.
One last thing is it was just at the very end, but hopefully if you're watching this, that's on there. But this whole repent thing, I just mentioned at the very end that there's got to be a turning when we accept Jesus, when we put our trust in what Jesus did for us. There has to be a turning from what we used to trust, because you can't share that trust. You can't say, I'm going to trust Jesus and Buddha too, just to cover my bases.
Well,
Not gonna
insurance
work.
policy.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
It's all or nothing.
When you don't take your trust away from something else and put it wholly, totally, and completely on Jesus, then it's not there at all. So there has to be a turning from wherever our security used to be, and our security's in Jesus.
But I'm pretty good.
You got to turn from that because you're not. So
Yeah.
All right. Well, if you did come and see this message in person, and even if you didn't, I don't know if it's on the video or not. I didn't get that far into it yet. About
is.
texting "right with God" to 94,000.
Yep.
But if you're seeing this is your reminder. If you did put your trust in Jesus for the first time, make sure to text "right with God" to 94,000.
Yep. There you go.
Yep, absolutely. All right. We'll see you next week.